JR points it at NBA Ben 10 again. This is the third time he stood over him, who appears to still be unconscious. JR appears to attempt to fire another round, but the handgun slide appears locked back, indicating it's out of ammunition.
Y'all are gonna want to stay around to the end of this video because, man, AllStar JR, he's not safe. And after what he decided to do, there is really no defense of self-defense, man. You gotta stay in the proper zone. If you're getting attacked, you feel me? Not, you know what I mean? Like, come on now. Bro. You're a hitter. And you know what I'm saying? This street stuff has the mind messed up. That's not how you handle that situation. But this is your daily dose of drama news and politics. And here on the JSmoove channel, we're always going to have a situation for you to dive into. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Turn that post notification bell on if you're returning. Let's hop straight into it. No, ain't got.
Bad news for Detroit's #1 defensive player of the year. AllStar JR is going to prison. And in this video, I'm going to explain why. Quick pause.
Nah, bro, because you thought we was lacking and never could be lacking on day in my life.
AllStar JR's trial for felony possession of a firearm is now scheduled for July 6th, and it would show the federal paperwork literally showing 9 a.m. This shit's gonna happen, and the estimated trial time is gonna be 3 days. Now, comments. About a 1% chance trial proceeds that soon, and a 99% chance it will be adjourned. And this is the thing. This whole shit happened, the shooting, in April. And trial is already set. There's not much reason for it to be delayed because there isn't an overwhelming amount of new evidence that they're going to be able to bring showing that he didn't have a gun. Now, taking a quick look at the criminal complaint, this happened back on April 8th, 2026. Now, skipping through all the paperwork, this is a photo of AllStar JR hitting the Motown Boogie as he is firing. You can see all the fire coming out of that. And I'm going to be careful about how I scroll through this because you can see Ben 10 slumped on the floor, completely blurred out. But, you know, YouTube will demonetize that in 2 seconds because the YouTube bots will assume it's a dead guy. Now you can also see JR apparently chasing. It says John Doe #2 and others run out of the frame towards the elevator. JR continues shooting as everyone is running away and shoots additional rounds at John Doe #2's direction. This right here is going to be one of the main things that they're going to say is he didn't need to do. If you've defended yourself as a felon, the second that threat is neutralized, you can no longer possess that gun.
Right.
So you can't go and chase after whoever else was present just because you feel tried or you're angry because now you're a felon in possession. Now this picture right here kind of seals the deal. Ford, JR, returns to where Ben 10 is lying motionless on his back. This right here, motionless, it's not even letting me highlight it. So now I just look stupid. Motionless on his back, and fires another 2 rounds at Ben 10 from a few feet away. Ben 10's body jolts suddenly as 1 round appears to strike him before going motionless again. Now,
yeah, it's not going to be hard for them to prove this was clear. Like, this man's a killer. That's murderous intent. Bro, that's crazy. Because the situation is moderately understandable. Yes, you got jumped. When you shot the first shots, that's when it was understandable at my level. But once you walked down and stood over, it was like, yo, you really a killer. Like, you need to be in jail, bro. Not gonna lie. That's not, you're a dangerous person to society at that point because to an extent, the mindset, like, I don't know if y'all can see it, but the mindset, what it would take to even be able to do that after you've already neutralized them, right? You've already shot them. If I already shot and they already down on the floor, not attacking me at that point. Like, that's murderous intent, and we don't need people like that out here. We need people that are willing to protect themselves, yes, but that's another level. That's like you in a road. That's like somebody cutting you off, and then you cut them off, and then make them hit you, or you just slam into the side of their car. Like, what? That's crazy.
Savage picture. If I was AllStar JR and I miraculously beat that case, I would make that a t-shirt, a portrait. I'd get it painted, put it up on my wall. The day they tried to rob me and I stood over them and fired into them, right? So they're saying Ben 10 was paralyzed off the first shot. When he initially got shot standing up, paperwork says he immediately hit the floor. AllStar JR chases the other ones to the elevator, firing, whatever hits whoever. I think they said the other kid that got hit, whatever his name was, Dead End Ron. Finger got shot off. He's leaking out in the elevator bad. They had a whole blood trail from the elevator to the parking lot where they found him. So he got hit bad. I think got hit in the artery in the leg, but somehow survived. Then JR comes back and stands over Ben 10, firing 2 more times, one of them making his body jolt as he's hit by the bullet. This right here, I don't know how they could defend this because of the fact that he wasn't a threat. And again, you can only defend yourself as a felon if you're about to die. Like if there's no other option than to get that gun and use it. But at the point that there is no longer a threat, if you continue possessing that weapon, you're a felon in possession. Ben 10 was clearly not a threat as his whole shit shut down, and he still stood over and shot him on video. All right, I really got to finesse this next part so I don't show y'all something I don't want to see, because Ben 10's laid out on the picture above and in this picture. But in this picture, you can see JR clearly right here, and his arm is extended, and he's firing again. And the paperwork would state, JR paces around the floor for approximately 8 seconds as the female he was with attempts to interact with him. JR then fires another round at NBA Ben 10 in his direction and exits the frame towards the elevators. So after standing over him and shooting into his fucking body and shooting a second time, JR walked away or just paced around. And for 8 seconds, he thought about, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Fuck that. Boom! And it fires again before leaving. But 20 seconds later, he comes back, still holding the gun. JR points it at NBA Ben 10 again. This is the 3rd time he stood over him, who appears to still be unconscious. JR appears to attempt to fire another round, but the handgun slide appears locked back, indicating it's out of ammunition. So JR, you can see the slides locked.
My man really wanted to catch a body, bro. Like, he was gonna make sure he caught a body on this occasion, and that's where we draw the line from. You're protecting yourself, and you want to put on an image, and this is really who you are, bro. No, bro, that's not okay. You're gonna. Bro, 3 times, bro, to somebody who's not moving. He could have already been dead at that point. I mean, maybe. But my whole thing is, there's only 2 things. I didn't see the pictures, but realistically, there's only 2 ways this scenario goes down. One, he's on the ground and he's like writhing around. Well, his face is, and he's like, and he can't move. He's paralyzed. And then you're shooting him while that's going on. That's crazy as shit. Then there's another scenario where maybe, or not maybe, but more than likely, when he got paralyzed and shot, he kind of just shut down, and now he's just there like passed out from the shock of everything, and you just standing over somebody who basically, to your eyes, is shot and dead, and still loading bullets into them. Like, come on, bro, that's crazy.
Back. You can see the barrel right there. JR didn't just stand over him. He stood over him 3 different times. shot him twice, or at least 2 different times. I don't even know how many times he shot him. He shot and then he jerked and then he leaned over the table after pacing around and tried to shoot him again. I don't know if it actually hit him. And then he came back again, probably tried to finish him, but there was no more bullets in the gun. He stood over Ben 10 3 different times, and somehow this kid's still alive. And at this point in time, JR would stand over Ben 10 and strike him in the face.
Lucky individual.
With a gun, pistol whipping him while he's on the floor. On video, they were able to capture JR wiping the handgun down before hiding it behind this counter right here. And this is going to be his main defense. His defense is going to be, look, I didn't leave with the gun. I didn't keep the gun. I just wiped it off and I left it there where no one could see it so nobody could grab it and try to use it against me. But where he's fucked, why I say he's going to prison, is because there was no longer a threat when he stood over Ben 10, shooting him, shooting at him, attempting to shoot him again, and pistol whipping him. And through that entire time, even though if you count it up, if it's only like 1 minute and 30 seconds, that's still 1 minute and 30 seconds of a felon in possession of a firearm. There was no threat. There was no need. Do I agree with it? No, I don't. I honestly feel like if you can be released from prison, you should have your rights back. Or there should be some type of probationary period, like a parole, in which you're released from prison, and if in set amount of years you don't get in trouble again, all rights should be back because you've proved that you've beat the recidivism rate. Because I beat the statistics. Realistically, I was released from prison. I haven't gone back. I beat the statistics. Most people go back within a set amount of time. I think it's within like 3 years. So if you can last a certain amount of time, you should be given your rights back. You should always be able to defend yourself with zero stipulation at all. You disarmed an attacker, saved your own life, saved your property that you worked for. I believe that. So do I agree with this? No. Don't take it as I think he should go to prison. I don't. But I think he will. Now, as we saw from what Remo posted, trial date has been set. They're ready to go. Like I said, I don't see what there is to fight in the situation. I don't see how he's going to be able to be like, hey, you know, I was still defending myself when I stood over him and pistol whipped him and this and that. And I'm glad he's not facing additional charges for that shit. That's also pretty fucking crazy. And then Hot Wheels, Ben 10 got shot right after this. According to the news, Baton Rouge rapper Ben 10 identified as one of 3 shot on Wells Street. Ben 10, a known associate of fellow Baton Rouge rapper NBA Youngboy, was shot in Baton Rouge on Tuesday.
Dang, I forgot about this.
He was shot in Houston. Real name Ben Anthony Fields was identified as one of 3 people injured in the shooting on Wells. Fields and the other 2 people were taken to a hospital in a private vehicle. In early April, he was shot in Houston. Just some advice for Ben 10. If you're getting shot in every state you go to, you need to just sit the fuck down and stop hanging out with certain people, bro. Because you're getting hit in cities that ain't yours, and then you're getting hit in your own city. And I don't even know how he survived this one, because he already got put in a wheelchair, and then he got shot out his wheels in Baton Rouge. And I'm not saying this shit to be funny. I'm saying this shit to be fucking serious, homie. Sit down, figuratively, literally, like get the fuck away from people, bro, because you just keep catching shots and shit is not going to
yeah, that's not realistic.
But as far as AllStar JR,
what?
I believe he's going to prison.
Bro. Like, nah, fact. AllStar JR he's gonna get taken away. And that's where I keep saying, like, yeah, it was self-defense to a point, bro. And then it was like, yo, you're also a problem to society. I don't know where that went. You're a problem to society, and likelihood of you, bro. You already, they gonna see me so nah, man. Anyway, that's a problem, man. Until you can get the proper help to, you know, fix that mindset about yourself, where you feel like it's okay to stand over somebody and see their life be drained from their body. I don't think that it's very intelligent to keep somebody like that walking around every day, because that could have been a group of teenagers trying to come up. They don't even, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of scenarios where this person could be put in another defense situation and take a life because they deem it to be necessary, and that's a certain mindset. It takes a certain mindset. Now, again, you're gonna say it's contradictory because you are shooting somebody to begin with. But at the same time, do understand that when you are in a life or death situation, you're gonna put yourself first. And you should, honestly, especially if you didn't ask to be there. But once you're not in that situation anymore, you can't become the aggressor. That makes you look bad. And that's why he's saying AllStar JR is going to get taken away. But Ben 10, bro, there's a lot of handicap basketball leagues that will take you, bro. I'm not going to lie. You need to join the wheelchair Olympics, bro. Like, it's over, bro. All this hood street stuff, cut it out. Cut it out. Because how do you even get, how are you alive? Like, he must have a message, a story, and a purpose, bro, because that's a lot. That's a lot. 3 shots, boom. 5 shots there, paralyzed. I ain't gonna lie. Play the Ricky music, going on the going on the block, catch him in a wheelchair. I mean,
he's facing up to 15. If they give him a deal, he could walk with maybe 5 or less years, because that's usually the average for a felon in possession of a firearm. But if he fails to accept that plea, if he's even been offered one, he could face a whole lot more. Let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comment section. It's 10:90.
Man, I'm definitely gonna be liking and subscribing to that channel, man. But yeah, overall, it's a crazy situation with AllStar JR. Hold on, we gonna watch the next little joint. 10 seconds.
One of the craziest self-defense cases has completely backfired on Detroit rapper AllStar JR after he was already indicted by the feds for being a felon in possession of a firearm, even though the gun wasn't his. But now the state of Texas is charging him with shooting NBA 10 and basically spinal tapping him, leaving him permanently paralyzed. AllStar JR gets charged again in NBA Ben 10 shooting for aggravated assault causing traumatic brain or spine injury. This is one of the photos from the shooting. Somebody would say Ben 10 is telling how come he is not arrested for assault and robbery, because the whole thing was started because of him. If everything is on camera and nobody is telling on each other, everybody should be in jail, especially Ben and Ron, because JR was defending himself. I'm not going to go ahead and say NBA Ben 10 is snitching, but it's very weird that it is captured on video. And I have the affidavit, the new affidavit that just came out, that details everything from the Houston police's point of view. And now we have confirmation as to who the gun came from. Quick pause, because this might actually help.
Bro, he be trying to catch us lacking it. I can never lack that hard, bro. On God.
Now, if you blinked, you probably missed it. That's how much wiggling went on. But that's it. That's all he can do. And this might be a response to Mimo 600, who's been on his ass since he got shot. Because the shit he been posting just been diabolical. He got one when he's in a Hellcat. I'm just saying, the shit funny. I'm not gonna act like I don't think it's fucking funny. It's funny. I wouldn't want to be dude, but you know, you reap what you sow in a sense. But for this case, don't forget, there was no confusion as to if AllStar JR did this, because not only did he admit it to the police, he admitted it all over his Instagram. I mean, this was the post right after saying, had to shoot to the D and get some new ice because my man's Ben 10 took some of my stuff to the hospital with him. Unplugged that. And yeah, we got Traplo Ross in the comments. We got Mimo in the comments. We got OP. We got Seti Nash. I mean, this was crazy when it first hit the internet. And he was not shying away from any of the allegations. He was letting it be known he shot them because the gun didn't come from him. It wasn't his gun. They jumped him, tried to rob him. One of them dropped their gun. He got it, shot them. And everyone thought this was the illest case of self-defense. And he's going to be able to brag about it, do anything.
Oh, I ain't gonna lie. He was spinning for a second there. I should have stopped it a little bit earlier. Bro. Nah, Benton was just, I mean, AllStar JR was low-key like loving that light, man. And that was the calm before the storm. I'm trying to tell you something.
Apparently, he was gonna do a Vlad TV interview before the feds picked him up. Everything was lined. He probably thought this was gonna be the thing that puts him on the map, that boosts his career. I just got a free shooting, and it all fell apart.
All you hoe ass niggas tagging me talking about, nigga, you see Ben back? You see Ben back? Well, if the bitch so back, tell him to do the Ben 10. I'll double it for him. Fuck he talking about. Do that bitch, Ben. Nigga, this your dance. Get in your groove, nigga, if you back.
Now, this was from 5 weeks ago, and he's telling him to do a dance that he made up. Mimo said, I'll stay off social media if he can wiggle his toes right now. And mind you, if we want to be fair, it took Ben 10 5 weeks to wiggle his toes. Reason being, he got stood over not one time, not 2 times, but 3 times before getting pistol whipped in his face. But this right here is making everything worse for him. He's been charged with aggravated assault with a traumatic brain or spine injury. Now, this is going to go through the entire shooting that took place. It was reported during the course of the physical altercation, the defendant, who is JR, discharged a firearm multiple times in the direction of the group of males, striking and injuring Fields, who was Ben 10. In the report, it was also documented that a Glock 43X handgun, 1 Glock 43X magazine, a black firearm holster with blood on it, 10 fired 9mm shells, blah, 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 blah. During the course of the investigation, they reviewed camera footage from inside of the club/restaurant where they could see JR with the female. They got up to leave and began to leave via the elevators. Once reaching there, a large group, including Ben 10, exited the elevators, and an initial verbal altercation ensues between JR and the group. During the physical altercation, JR is seen fist fighting with Ben 10 and several others. As the fight is going on, officers observed a male involved in the fight lose his holstered firearm from his waistband, where it then lands on the ground under a table. They then observe AllStar JR fall to the ground and take possession of the firearm, where he begins to shoot into the crowd, striking Ben 10 with the initial shots. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, proves what the federal paperwork did not. We now have confirmation that gun was not JR's. It came from the group that attacked him, fell, and when he fell from getting jumped, he grabbed the gun and opened fire. Unless you're in like liberal California or fucked up New York City, under almost any southern law would this be a stand your ground, case closed, self-defense scenario. But it's what happened after. On video, detectives were able to see Ben 10 immediately incapacitated and falling to the ground on his side before slowly rolling on his back, where he does not move again. JR is then observed to get up from the ground and continue to fire the gun in the direction of the crowd as they run away. After approximately 13 seconds, JR is then observed returning to Ben 10, who is still motionless on the floor.
I'm sorry, my man turned over and said, "Shamanamana." He had all the prayers that on the guide. He started, I'm trying to tell you, bro. I'm trying to tell you, cause, bro, imagine you just got shot and now you just can't move, bro. He probably was like, oh, bro. I just had an experience like that. No bullshit, and bro, when you feel like you can't use your lower half, bro, that's terrifying. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like that will make you think. It will make you appreciate a lot more. Cause like right now, even what I went through a few days ago, bro, my back hurts, my butt hurts sitting on this chair, tailbone severely bruised. So man, pray for your boy JSmoove.
Where JR discharges 3 more rounds at Ben 10 in close range, striking him. After the 3rd round, they observed the slide of the firearm to be locked back, indicating that JR ran out of bullets. JR is then seen walking away before walking back, and at that time he points the gun directly at Ben 10's head and appears to pull the trigger. However, the gun didn't fire. So when you're looking at a gun, you often see this in gun range videos. When someone's shooting and their only view is the back of the gun, they don't really notice when the slide's locked back because it can pretty much look the same, especially if you're focused on what's down range. So he didn't know the gun was out of bullets. And this adrenaline dump he was having, he thought it still had one in there. He tried to dome check Ben 10 and finish him. Because the gun was out of ammo, they observed JR stand over Ben 10 and pistol whip him in the face before finally spitting on him and fleeing the scene. Through the investigation, police learned from Ben 10's medical treatment team that he sustained a spine injury as a result of the shooting that has left him without sensation from the waist down. They also learned that based on the extent of the injuries, the prognosis for Ben 10 is that he will have irreversible paralysis of his lower extremities, which means he's paralyzed. Nothing from the waist down works. His legs, possibly his manhood.
No! Y'all stay out the streets. You gonna lose your beats. I'm trying to tell you something.
Be on a shit bag. It might be all the way bad for Ben 10 right now. And this isn't something to laugh at him and ridicule him, but you have to remind him and everybody else, he decided to fight JR. They decided to try to rob JR. JR didn't initiate this situation. He just handled it how a street motherfucker from Detroit is gonna handle it. Oh, you wanna try me? I'm gonna put you in the ground. Unfortunately, or fortunately for Ben 10, however you wanna look at it, the gun ran out of bullets because it was only a 43X with a 10-round mag. Had it had 15, that probably would have cost Ben 10 his life. Now, I looked up the specific charge, right? Because aggravated assault under Texas law is normally a second-degree felony, punishable by 2 to 20 years in prison. But the enhancement of a traumatic brain or spinal injury takes that punishment and boosts it from 5 to 99 years or life in Texas State Prison. So now, AllStar JR is not just facing 15 years in the feds. He's facing a life sentence under Texas law. And this shit is so cold, right? Because when you get your paperwork from the feds, when you've been indicted from the feds, by the feds, it's not you versus whatever. It's you versus the United States of America. And let's just say worst comes to worst, JR gets hit with 10 years in the feds, right? After he's hit with the 10, they're going to transfer him to Texas. And then he has to face this charge. So if he's hit with, let's just say another 10 from the feds, 10 from the state, he's going to do his federal bid first. He's going to do those 10 years at 85%. And the day he is released from the feds, he won't be released. He'll be transferred to Harris County, Texas, or directly to the Texas Department of Corrections. And from there, he's going to start a fresh 10-year sentence. This is the thing, is it's not double jeopardy because you have two different entities charging you. The feds in the state are completely different. So if he gets a max 15, or he could even get fucking 3 years in the feds, bro. He can get 3 years in the feds for the gun, which isn't crazy, right? 3 years, whatever, you take that to the chin. And then he could get 50 from the fucking state of Texas. So after he finishes 3, he's got to do 50. That's how fucked this is. This situation just took a turn for the absolute worst. It could not get any worse than this. JR is now fighting for his life. And whatever money he spent on a federal attorney, he's going to have to double down and do the same shit in Texas. And again, it isn't because the weapon wasn't his and he was defending himself. It's because of the fact at the point he was no longer defending himself. He showed he was trying to kill. He stood over a man 3 times, shooting into him until there was nothing left in the gun. Not knowing there was nothing left in the gun, he tried to put another one in his head. And disappointed by the outcome that no bullet fired out of that weapon, he pissed off and spit on him. Then dropped the music. Then tried to book an interview. Then came up with a new dance. And I guarantee you every single thing I just said is going to be used against him in court. This is the most backfiring self-defense case I've ever seen, where someone was under the complete impression that this is easily won. I'll face nothing for this, and I am absolutely fucking surprised that Ben 10 and Dead End Ron haven't been charged with any assault, with any robbery. After it's literally been proven they robbed him, they took shit from him, they're on video taking his jewelry. None of them have been charged. And maybe the state of Texas is looking at it like, you already lost your legs, Ron already lost a finger, and all y'all look fucking stupid because technically he put that fire on y'all ass and he got the gun from y'all. So unless the state of Texas just feels sorry for them, I am completely surprised none of them have been charged. But let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comment section. Do y'all think he took it too far? At what point should he have stopped? Or do you think he should be able to beat this case and he shouldn't face a severe punishment?
Man, imagine the state. Just imagine with me real quick. They sitting up there like, here we had 1 Negro. 3 Negroes robbed that Negro. Huh. He shot them 3 Negroes? I don't know. Huh. It's rolling. Get them out of here. What should we do with these 3? Well, he's paralyzed and he lost a finger. None of them really have any type of platform. It'd be cool. Let them do. It's like, what's going on in politics, man? But if y'all enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'm gonna get up out of here. Let me know if y'all think there's any slim hope of AllStar JR getting out of prison. In my humble opinion, he's gonna do some time for this, and I believed he should have off of the way he handled the situation. Period. So make sure that you keep your morals and ethics about you. You know, taking somebody's life is not your decision, and you should learn the self-defense laws so you don't catch yourself up in this type of situation. Have a good rest of your day. Peace out.